Okay, we are live. So you ladies are welcome to start a watch party or share the stream to your Facebook pages if you'd like to do that. Just give us a minute. Live. So you ladies are welcome to start a watch party or Okay, good afternoon and welcome to everyone out there on the Facebook live stream that has joined us this afternoon. For those of us who commemorate and celebrate the Sabbath, I'd love to welcome you as well. And then everyone else who has found it fit to be able to join us this afternoon. Welcome so much to our discussion this afternoon, diets and stilettos. And I have a panel of lovely women with me this afternoon, and we will be kind of addressing the subject in the best way possible, really sharing important perspectives on not just how we eat, the way we eat, when we eat, but also about just overall well-being as women, and as well as the way that we dress, the way that we understand how our appearance and the way we dress potentially might influence our health and our well-being. And so with that, I would like to welcome you once again to our live stream this afternoon. And I would like to, before I give the opportunity to each of our panelists to introduce themselves, would love to do an opening prayer. Please bow your heads with me. Dear Father God, thank you for this opportunity that we have today to get together as women, not just on this specific discussion here, but to all the many listeners that we have out there on our live stream this afternoon joining us, where we can discuss different perspectives and matters pertaining to our well-being. Thank you for just an opportunity to chat, to share, and I ask that you may bless our discussion here this afternoon and that it might potentially reach someone out there that needs an answer to the questions they might have. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so once again, welcome to the lovely ladies. Please unmute yourself when you are ready to speak. I would love for each of you to please introduce yourselves, maybe where you're from, a bit of what you do, and then maybe share with us your favorite fruit, if that's possible. So Chantal, I would love for you to please start.
Okay, my name is Chantal Horn, and it's an absolute privilege to be here this afternoon. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am originally from Cape Town, but we are currently residing in KwaZulu-Natal. And to say first, my favorite fruit is grapes. I love grapes, especially the green ones, the nice and sweet green ones. They are my favorite. So my husband and I, we are in full-time ministry. Our ministry is called the Preparation Ministry, and we're a faith-based ministry and a self-supporting ministry, and we have a very wide spectrum of facilities and programs that we provide. We do public seminars, we do personal testimonies, we do online videos on various topics, health, end-time events, marriage talks. We also do counseling for marriage counseling, people struggling with abuse, learning how to walk with God. We just do a very wide spectrum. And then also we do Bible studies online Bible studies and one-on-one. So basically, it's just a ministry that is focused on all aspects of our walk with God, helping people in all those areas. And my husband and I are doing it together, Renier, and we also have two beautiful boys, Jonathan and Matthew, and they are almost 5 and almost 3.
Cute. And Chantal, Jane?
Hi everyone, my name is Jane Chuti. I am originally from Rwanda and currently live in Cape Town. Have been here for a very long time. I may as well say I'm from Cape Town. My favorite fruit is banana. It's easy to eat. Like I struggle with fruits which like apples, which you have to chew like 100 times, and pineapple. I just can't deal with preparing pineapples, so I'm going to stick to banana. Okay, so I run a small business and slash ministry called Tamu. So I do pop-up restaurants, I do meal deliveries, vegan, I do cooking classes. Recently, I also started with content creation on YouTube as well, and I have been doing some on Instagram as well. So that is what I do. Yeah.
Thanks, Jane. Annabelle? Okay, Annabelle, you can just unmute.
Mute. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Annabelle. I'm 35 years old. I'm born in Philippines. And my favorite fruit is actually not here in Cape Town. I don't know if everyone is familiar. My favorite fruit is jackfruit. It works with everybody, and it's a nice, sweet fruit that's so huge that is good for weight loss. It's good for everyone's ailments, and it's good for children and adults. All right, I'm just to testify. I was born Roman Catholic, and I'm converted. I was converted to Christianity at the age of 12, and I found the Sabbath truth in the year 2010 through my husband, Ali Solomon. I then got baptized in the same year, December 2010. We get married with two boys. It's Ruel and Daniel. Ruel is 8 and Daniel is 6 years old, and they were born here in South Africa. I started Ras for You in the year 2013. This Ras for You, I have developed my own recipe where I incorporate different dried fruit, healthy fruits, seeds, and nuts, and dates, and everything. I started massage therapy in the year 2014. I started Oriental Spa and Thai massage in Platic Loop in the year 2017. And I'm now managing director of Asian Blend Spa in Tiger Valley, Belleville area. This business we have started it with my husband Elroy. It's a unique spa because most other spas often Monday to Sundays, including Saturdays. Our spa closed on a Sabbath, and a lot of people don't know why. So it's a big realization to a lot of people why we close on the Sabbath, where everybody is making double the money. So our spa is very unique. We offer 100% organic skincare products made of fruits, made of papaya, strawberry. We have variety selection of healthy teas. It's sourced directly from Clan William Farm. And we do offer holistic massages such as Swedish, Thai oil, aromatherapy, herbal massages, sport massages, and many more.
Just everything, basically.
Everything, yes.
Thank you, Annabelle. And so there you have it. This is our panelists for this afternoon. As you can hear, they are quite expert and knowledgeable in quite specific areas. And that's why I'm so excited to have you this afternoon with me on this specific topic. So we are speaking on diets and stilettos. That's the topic. But what we actually would like to be getting into this afternoon is holistic well-being. And so Annabelle will share some very interesting information and perspectives with us on massage, therapies, etc. Chantal will share a lot on health, um, and just to have an holistic view on health and family life, etc. And then Jane as well on food, the way we eat, the way we understand and discover food. And so, ladies, I would love to pose my first question to you. And my question is, where do you start if you want to eat healthy, or if you want to be healthy? Where do you start? I don't know if you'd like to kick it off, Chantal, for us.
Okay. I think I just want to say that in very short, many years ago in 2005, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called lupus. And I nearly died because of it. The doctors didn't think I would make it. And I went through 3 years of basically being bedridden, in and out of the hospital every second month. At some point, I was drinking 15 to 18 tablets a day. And sometimes I was taking up to 20 milligrams of cortisone a day. And so the reason why I just want to give that short introduction about me is that I then discovered that there are natural ways in which we can treat our bodies. And I took that journey upon myself. And I think that I learned through that journey a lot is that when I want to change my lifestyle, it needs to be, well, it doesn't have to be, but I found it was a lot easier to do it in small portions. So for some people, it's very easy to take a healthy lifestyle, cold turkey, and run with it. But for some, it can be very overwhelming. And I'm one of those persons that actually find that very overwhelming. So for me, it was very useful to just start small and make little changes. I always say to people, try to eliminate one thing at a time, and then you grow in your healthy lifestyle. And also to try. So I think that's what I would like to share just from my personal experience in suffering from an autoimmune disease. I went over to a plant-based diet, completely natural plant-based diet, but I did it in a gradual process. So that would be my thoughts that I would like to share.
Thank you, Chantal. Annabelle, would you like to share with us, where does one start if you want to eat healthy? Maybe just unmute the Annabelle.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Starting to eat healthy. Always tell me this, that if you want to start eating healthy, you must eat your breakfast like a king. You must eat your lunch like a prince, and then you must eat your supper like a pauper. So he will always say that the breakfast is the important meal of the day and we shouldn't skip it. But because of our work and we are always too busy, we sometimes omit breakfast and we eat less in lunch and we actually eat more at dinner time, which is actually bad for our health because those calories and those carbohydrates are not burned. So no eating in between meals. If you do choose a healthy snack, you have to choose fruits. I think it's best that if we choose to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and it should be wholesome. Our diet should be wholesome. Elroy actually was born vegetarian, but when we met in South Korea, he was introduced to different meats, and there's a lot of meats out there and they taste so nice, so you get indulged with it. But
Yeah.
he was born vegetarian, and now we are changing our diet to a plant-based diet, maybe more on fish and more on vegetable and less on meat, because it's good for our body. And it's important to know that we have to drink water as well in order for our body and our organs to detox and cleanse. And it's important that those sugars and those salts has been flushed out into our system. So for a healthy digestive system, it is necessary to eat soluble fibers like fruit and vegetables, as I said, and we can also incorporate some fermented dish into our diet. I don't know if everyone is familiar. Korean kimchi is one, and this is high fiber foods and high in vitamin C, and it has no sugars, and it is very good for you. So aside from proper healthy diet, we all need to take vitamins and supplements as well. Because especially for elderly persons, we don't get the nutrients that our body needs, all the nutrients that our body needs from the food that we have every day. So our body suffers, therefore we get sick. So as the quality of vegetable contain full nutrients now compared to the antediluvian era, where the vegetables have high value in terms of nutrient levels. This nutrient level decay is also the result of sin. And eating a healthy diet now, you will be less prone to disease and mobilities later on in your life.
Okay.
So that's how I start with.
Yeah. For me, it's just so interesting how you are mentioning that it's not this or that, and it's not there's only just one way to look at it. All of us come from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different ways we were raised. Just like you mentioned, Annabelle, Elroy was raised a certain way, and obviously that influences your family. Chantal, you also mentioned when you were diagnosed with the autoimmune disease that you also have to shift things around and introduce new ways and new practices into your family's health. And so I'd like for Jane also just to then mention on this question, Jane, where does one start if you want to eat healthy?
Okay, so when I started trying to eat healthy, I didn't necessarily start well. And and it really became a problem because I tried to complicate matters. And then I found a quote which actually really helped me. It said that eat food, not too much, and mostly plant. And that was as simple as it gets. Just eat food. Don't eat things which looks like food. Eat food.
Looks like food.
And the minute that I started and applying those things, like, okay, this is actually food. This is not chemicals which was meant to look like food. Then I made sure that I'm eating more food, things I make for myself and not over processed. And of course, I'm going plant-based and not too much. I was not trying to eat all the time, but eating when it's necessary to do so and enjoying my food in the process. I think the mistake that we make most of the time is that we complicate being healthy. And it's not complicated. It is so simple. It's just eating mostly like our forefather ate, just eat food from farm to the table.
Yeah.
I know we live in cities where we don't necessarily go into our gardens, but things which are planted, how they look like. So when you go to the market, choose those things and eat those things. And for me, that is really what I normally tell people. Eat food, not things that looks like food.
Like food.
And that is the first place to start.
Yeah, I think that's so true what you're saying, Jane. And I think maybe in the future we can do a show that's Mythbusters or something, because we grow up and we take on these beliefs about the food industry. Okay, so a lot of it, maybe that's being shared in mainstream media is true, and maybe a lot is untrue. And so there's a lot of research, there's a lot of things that can be unpacked that are myths and facts about the way that we, not just how food is being harvested and grown, but how we understand food and how we discover it for ourselves. And so I'd like to move into the next question, which speaks about therapies. And I'd love if Annabelle can maybe lead us on this. The question is, why is it important for us to invest in therapies? And when I mention the word therapies, I'm referring to things like massages. Um, we see these tiny little bottles in the health section that says essential oils, and we have no idea what it means for some of us. Maybe we can touch on that as well. Maybe the idea of hydrotherapy. Chantal, maybe you'd like to speak to us about that a little bit. And maybe Jane, you can tell us a little bit about this thing that I've always been wondering about, and that's the idea of food therapy. A lot of us, if you go through a bad or stressful situation, people always say you're going to run to ice cream or something just to help you, and you stress eat. And people believe that food brings certain types of therapy, not just mentally and physically to them, but emotionally as well. And so, Annabelle, if you can lead us on this question, why is it important for us to invest in therapies?
Okay. All right. Massage therapy and its importance. This is very important because the World Health Organization in 1989, they defined health as holistic, including physical health, emotional health, mental, and spiritual health. Therefore, health should be holistic, and this includes massage therapeutic techniques. So there's a lot of variety of massage techniques being used worldwide because we are all unique people and we are all have different stress levels. We have different diet, we have different work, and we have different pain management as well. So when it comes to massage, it brings your body into a relaxation. So in line with your body, the blood circulation is improved, your breathing is improved, and the movement of your body as well as your mental health and emotional health is improved. So in non-Christian communities in Asia, massages are often linked with qi. It means a universal energy that passes through your body and the rest of the universe, which includes your relationship with God. So chi is a universal energy that is very important. So when there is no chi, everything goes wrong. Everything goes wrong in your life, and there is imbalance. Therefore, most people that regularly seek massages, they experience calmness. Massages that is the massages that is provided by professional massage therapists, specifically, the people they find these massages as therapeutic. They find these massages medicated because it alleviates the pain and their body discomfort. So they very thankful that they had tried massage therapy as a holistic technique in dealing with the problems they have in and out, whether it's mental or physical or spiritual, because we find ourselves in this stressful life that we feel like we are all alone, but there's a network out there. There is God that's still there for us, that looks after us.
Thanks, Annabelle. Chantal, before you answer, Annabelle, do you want to just name one or two things on maybe the importance or the value in understanding essential oils? And because I know that is something that's quite prominent with massage therapists as yourself, and
yes,
what role that plays.
All right. Essential oils. Yes, there's a lot of small oils that has bigger benefit or highest value that we don't know about, that is out there. So with these essential oils, because breathing is life to us, breathe is the center of our body. Everything in our body is controlled with the air that you breathe. So every essential oils unlocks different part of your body and improves its functions, especially if you are stressed, you tend to worry a lot. So you can use chamomile and lavender oils. So chamomile and lavender oils, it has this calming scent that helps to improve your sleep. Rosemary oil, on the other hand, it will improve your reproductive health. And so is geranium, and so is eucalyptus. So all these essential oils has different benefits depending on your problem.
Thank you, Annabelle. Chantal?
Okay, so from a hydrotherapy point of view, I think for those that are not familiar, hydrotherapy is basically using water as a therapy. And there are different ways in which you can do that. Believe it or not, you can actually, all you need actually is a shower. You are able to do a hydrotherapy every day. But you can also do a hydrotherapy in your bath. Some places you can actually purchase a hydrotherapy box that you actually sit in that gives you also a form of hydrotherapy. And often in this box, they also provide ozone, which is very good for the blood cells. But you can even do hydrotherapy for a sore throat just by using face cloths that are wet. If you have a flu, you can use a wet t-shirt treatment, which is also a form of hydrotherapy. And hydrotherapy, I think, has so many health benefits that we could probably spend a whole session just on that. But there were three things that I thought was very important to mention. And that's one, it boosts the immune system and it helps your body with the reproduction of white blood cells. So the white blood cells is what we call the army of the body. And if they are not functioning properly, our immune system can't fight for us. So that's why we eat healthy, so that we can feed our white blood cells with the proper nutrients. That's why we do hydrotherapy, so that our white blood cells can be healthy, but can also make more white blood cells, as some of them do die. So that's the one point. The second point is hydrotherapy really helps with blood circulation, which is very important. Interesting enough, there are some areas in our body where the veins are so small that the white blood cells actually need to go through those veins one by one because it's quite thin. And when we do things like hydrotherapy, we eat healthy, we exercise, we actually promote blood circulation, and it helps the white blood cells and oxygen to move through the body where it's necessary. And then lastly, hydrotherapy is an easy, natural, safe way to detoxify your body, especially when we're transitioning over to a different lifestyle. Maybe we're struggling with disease. Hydrotherapy is a way to actually decrease detox symptoms and just to help the body in that detoxing process. So that's probably my three favorite points about hydrotherapy.
Thank you, Chantal. Jane?
I'm just going to talk about food. Food sits at a very emotional pedestal in our human life. When we are sad, we eat. When we are happy, we eat. We just eat and eat and eat. There is no occasion which does not involve food. And because of that, the choice is it's not about whether we are eating or not. It's about the choices we make regarding to what we eat. But most of the time when we are not intentional, especially when we are depressed or when you are a woman and it's that time of the month, we intend to want things which are not necessarily good for us. But what that does, it keeps us in that mood even longer than necessary, because then we end up feeling guilty and so on. And most of the time is because of the relationship that we actually have with food. The day that I understood what Genesis 1:29 was about, when God says that, let me actually read it. It says that, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And I understood God created food way before sin. So food was not necessary there to sustain us because there was no death anyway. God is our sustainer. God actually gave us food as a means of enjoyment, delightful, because the Garden of Eden is it is a delight. It's called a delightful place. But the thing is, we have not yet started to identify food in that way when it comes to good food. You think in order to be healthy, we identify health food with things which taste really bad, things which, cabbage, which things we don't want to eat. And I think that is the problem. So when you want to feel happy, you will not want to choose something healthy, because in your mind, it's already something which will depress you. So when we start changing our mindset when it comes to what healthy food is and how it tastes like, we will start choosing it better, because the minute you eat chocolate, you will start having a stomach ache, you will start, and then the cycle continues. So I always tell people, just change how you see health food, and maybe don't eat the healthy food that tastes bad. If you can't stomach something which doesn't taste good and is healthy, keep it aside until you have tasted all the healthy stuff that tastes good and you have changed the way you see food, health food in this case. And then change the psychology of the way you see food, and then that's how you will start eating good and feel good in the end, instead of eating what you want to eat and feel bad afterwards. So I always tell people that's how you actually change the way you relate to food. Yeah.
So while I was listening to you, I was actually thinking of the quote, I think it was Hippocrates, that said, "Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food." And so it's not that we are all saying we are going to now all of a sudden go plant-based, but it's about understanding, just like Annabelle, Chantal, and Jane, you have said, it's psychological, it's emotional, it's mental, and it's even spiritual. Annabelle, like you said, when you're going through that process of massage and the touch and the scent of the oils that is being used on your body, you're going into a space of relaxation, you're going into a space of knowing that you need to think more positively, you need to come in line with your beliefs, even in a just a better and more improved way as well. Jane, I think you wanted to say something before we move on to the next question.
I actually wanted to say that once you start relating to health food in a positive way, then you start craving healthy food, and then you won't even need medicine that you think you need to feel healthy, because then your body is constantly detoxing itself, and you won't have to be taking all the junks that you have been putting in your body anyway, because you don't consume them. So it's about changing your mindset and how you see food, and it will be your medicine, and it will be enjoyable, and.
I would just like to remind all of those that have joined us this afternoon. So we are speaking about, the title is Diets and Stilettos, but we are looking at basically holistic well-being this afternoon. I have Annabelle, Chantal, and Jane with me, and we have been dealing with matters on eating healthy, on investing in therapies. And the next question that we will be looking at is detoxing. So, ladies, what is detoxing and what are the good ways to do it? Maybe Chantal, you would like to lead us into that question. But just before you answer, I'd like to remind everyone joining us here this afternoon, just a quick disclaimer. None of us here are medical professionals, so don't take our word as bond. Also, we are just sharing perspectives and knowledge from experience this afternoon. And you are more than welcome to obviously do further research. Some of you out there might be even more knowledgeable than us, but it's just really nice to share these perspectives and to open this type of discussion, especially with it being the month for women. And so, Chantal, I'd like to ask if you can lead us into this question. The question was, what is detoxing and what are the good ways to do it?
Okay, so I think it's a very broad term, but if I can simplify it, we are all exposed to a lot on a daily basis through the air that we breathe, through our skin, through what we eat, in our environments that we lived in. I remember when we lived in Cape Town, we lived in the country, but we lived between the canola fields that are heavily sprayed in today's day. So, you know, we are exposed to so much and it comes into our bodies. And I think the idea of detoxing is to actually free up the body on the inside from that which is bad, if I can put it in that simple terms. You know, if I just think of myself from the lifestyle that I came from, which basically has caused my autoimmunity, because autoimmunity is a lifestyle disease. You know, it's basically trying to detoxify from a lot of stuff that I exposed myself to in my previous lifestyle. It's also important to realize that our bodies can't function optimal in, how can I say, in a clogged up system. You know, like, for instance, taking heavy metals. We sometimes get heavy metals into our bodies and that actually negatively affect our organs. And then our organs can't work optimal as it should. So detoxification is basically to clean the body, from how I understand it. And you know, if I just think of heavy metals, I know something like coriander is an excellent way to actually detoxify the body from heavy metals. I had the wonderful privilege of working with a lifestyle center for a whole year, a few years back. And one of the ways that they use is actually to use activated charcoal poultices to actually help with detoxification. So this is a poultice that you make at home with charcoal, activated charcoal that you can buy at Discam, linseed and water, and you put that mixture in between a cloth, and that cloth then gets placed on your belly while you actually make certain changes. So for instance, someone that wants to stop smoking, or someone that wants to stop drinking alcohol, or even someone that wants to come off coffee, it really helps them to wear these charcoal poultices in the transition process. And as we've mentioned earlier, doing hydrotherapy also helps to alleviate the body. I remember back then when I was treated for lupus, you know, from a natural point of view, when they used to do my hydrotherapy, when I get out of that box, the white towel underneath my feet had brown marks on, which they taught me is a way of which actually an indication that your body is getting rid of toxins and heavy metals and chemicals. So that's why I'm a firm believer in hydrotherapy, because it's such a natural way to actually help your body to detoxify and then to make the use of poultices. And there are many different poultices that you can use, but activated charcoal is one of my favorites.
Annabelle?
All right. When it comes to detoxing, we first need to know what is detox and what is toxins. Okay, we get toxins from the food that we eat, unhealthy diet. We get it from water, maybe not purified water that we drink, air pollution, stress, free radicals. And then we see our body or our eyes or our body, we get tired and our eyes get yellow or red, and we see signs that our body need to detox. So we can see it in our skin as well. When we develop lots of pimples on our back, that means that our organs is sending us signals that our liver need or kidneys need detox. So when it comes to detoxing, at first there's a lot of simplest way we can detox. Just in my opinion, first that I do when I need to detox is I do deep breathing. We always do it, deep breathing in the morning, especially. It's the simplest way to detox because that's even the stretching exercise in the morning. It helps our body to be in a state of calm. It gives oxygen to our muscle. Therefore, it's not tight or it's not stiff. Especially this winter, we need to move, we need to stretch. We can't be sitting all, sluggard. All right, drinking glass of water. And I think it's important to know that when we drink glass of water, we have to be seated. So the water is absorbed into our body effectively. You can't be standing and drinking that water. One of the doctor in India told me that it is not effective to drink water and you're standing. So it's important to note that we have to be seated when we drink our water, and we have to drink water on an empty stomach in the morning because it helps to prepare our organs for the day. Because we were sleeping and our organs, were sleeping as well, right? Except for our heart. So it's important that we have to prepare our organs for the day. So drinking water in the morning is a best detox therapy. So there's a lot of ways or simple ways, even inexpensive teas. I'll mention some of the teas that is beneficial for detox. We do have, I don't know if everyone is familiar, we do have green tea. Green tea is very famous in Asia, and we always drink green tea in the afternoon. Tea time, we always have green tea. It's good for anti-aging, it's good for burning fats, and it's good for detox as well. That's why when we drink tea, we always rush to the toilet right away, right there. All right, so there's a lot of teas that has health benefits. Lemon tea, lemon water, it's good for detox. Herbal teas like peppermint, buku, South Africa has cancer bush, honey bush, fennel. These are the teas that is good for detox. And if you don't like teas, there's also coconut water and aloe vera water. They will cleanse and flush out all the toxins that is in your body.
Thank you, Annabelle. Jane?
So for me, when it comes, okay, so they mentioned a lot, but I just want to add, especially for people who probably found everything to be too much and confusing, just eat well. Like our body also has a way of getting rid of the toxins, but make sure that you're not adding more. Just eat well, eat as much plant. Most food actually have got detoxification properties. So eat those food, eat normal food, which will help you get rid of the toxins, and drink a lot of water. And if necessary, do hydrotherapy and all other things, especially when you are really sick. But on our everyday, ongoing day to day, eat well and allow your body to do the miracle that it does. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your perspective. So we are just over halfway in our conversation. While we're moving towards the end, we just have about 2 more questions left. And so I'd like to jump into the next one that might look or sound a little bit more on the sensitive side of health and well-being, but I think it's an important question for us to give some type of perspective on, and that is natural remedies versus pharmaceuticals. I know that this can be such a tricky situation, and none of us are going to be advocating anything specific. We are not saying people should just be natural. We are not saying that people should just be taking all their pharmaceuticals the way that it's been prescribed to them, because that is important as well, depending on your situation. But we are asking the questions, so what is the balance between these two, if it is in fact that many of us are using both? I don't know if Chantal, would you like to lead us in this question?
So I just have a short thought that I would like to share, and I think it comes from my background. I mean, I've mentioned my medical background and my struggle with the autoimmune disease. And I think it's always important to remember that there's a fine line between the two. If it was not for the medical field, I would not have been here today. They saved my life. The one particular night while I was in hospital, my blood pressure fell 45 over 35, which is alarmingly low. And I was rushed to ICU, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and my doctor told me that he rushed through red robots to get to me that night, and he did not expect me to be alive. But God has been amazing, and he used those hands and he used those people to save my life. Unfortunately, 3 years after that, I was treated medically, and it didn't work for me because I was in and out of hospital. I just never stabilized. And so that's when I started doing the research about treating my body more naturally with natural remedies. And like Jane has been saying a lot to us, by using food as our medicine. And so from my perspective, I don't believe God, how can I say, I believe God created doctors, because doctors, I believe they have a calling to save people's lives. I think it's just always important for us to keep in the back of our minds that if, as far as possible, we should treat disease naturally as far as possible. That should always be our aim, to not necessarily treat disease with medication necessarily long-term. I know that in some cases, some people need to be on medication long-term, and we're not talking against that at all. I have been fortunate that my lupus was diagnosed very early, so I did not have drastic organ failure and organ problems that I have to stay on medication. But there are many women that I know that have lupus, and the lupus has created so much havoc that they unfortunately have to be on certain medication long term. So I just think it's just to find that balance within all of our circumstances, because we all are different. But to always remember, as Jane was saying, is that food can be a way for us to treat our bodies naturally every day, and to, as far as possible, to make it our aim to treat our bodies as natural as possible, but not to say, okay, let's take the medical field and we throw it into the bin. I do believe they were given by God. And I know all of you, are of the same mindset, but I guess I just speak very passionately about that because of my own background. But yeah, that's just where my thoughts are.
Perfect. Thanks, Chantal. Jane, would you like to share?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I think we must understand that if we neglect to take care of ourselves and think that we will use shortcuts, which is, I'm not going to eat healthy, I'm not going to follow the 8 laws of health, but I'm going to depend on medication, then sooner or later, even the medication that you're trying to depend on will not work for you, because you are neglecting to take care of yourself. Medications are there to help you, but they're not there to take care of you. So take care of yourself, and then if need be that you need to use medication, then use them. Yeah.
Thanks, Jane. Annabelle?
All right. Yeah, it's a lot of information, but yes, yes, I agree with Jane that the food should be diet medicine. It's important that if we are eating right, I think we won't be sick. That's just my opinion. It's always said that prevention is better than cure. So if we actually follow the health councils on diets and foods, and even the Ministry of Health Healing in Ellen G. White, I don't think we will be. Yes, that's right. I don't know if we need pharmaceuticals or medication. And as we are all aware, there's some people that is taking medication for longer period of time. I think you shouldn't be reliant on it 100% because there's a lot of natural remedies, as Chantal mentioned, that she is also into natural remedies. There is pros and cons of taking those medications, and it shouldn't be long term because it's somehow it affected our organ and it caused more damage. I just want to read something here from Ellen G. White, Ministry of Healing, page 127. She said here that people need to be taught that drugs do not cure disease. It is true that they sometimes afford present relief and the patient appears to recover as the result of their use. This is because nature has sufficient vital force to expel the poison and to correct the conditions that cause the disease. Health is recovered in spite of the drug, but in most cases, the drug only changes the form and location of the disease. Often the effect of the poison seems to be overcome for a time, but the results remain in the system and work great harm at some later period. By the use of poisonous drugs, many bring upon themselves lifelong illness and many lives are lost that might be saved by the use of natural methods of healing. So natural remedies further on says that it's pure air, sunlight, rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power, and these are the true remedies that is out there. That is not even, that's not gonna cost us a fortune. So I think we must just trust God that everything will go right with our life, with our health, and then trust Him that He will heal us.
Thank you so much, Annabelle. I would highly, okay, before I make a comment, Chantal.
I just wanted to say, Annabelle also just triggered a thought to me. I don't know how many people know this, but today there are actually functional medicine doctors. So these are usually doctors that are qualified doctors, but they don't necessarily, their first option is not to treat with drugs and medicine. I've got a very dear friend, Dr. Bruce Webb. He's an Adventist doctor, and he's a functional medicine doctor, and his knowledge is phenomenal. And so when he looks at your body, he looks at your body holistically, like in total, understanding that everything works together. It's not like something isolated from the other part. He looks at the whole body together. And the beauty of functional medicine is that it actually uses natural remedies and supplements and healthy habits to treat your body. And that's usually their main focus. So if someone feels they want to see a doctor, I always recommend a functional medicine doctor because they definitely look at natural remedies, supplements, and the 8 laws of health that we are taught through Ellen White's writings.
Thank you so much, Chantal. So if any of you would like to maybe get the book, Ministry of Healing, that Annabelle quoted out of, please contact or inbox the Girl Positive Facebook page and we will get you into contact with somebody that can assist you. And so I'd like to remind us again this afternoon, our conversation is about diets and stilettos, which is basically holistic well-being. This is our topic for discussion this afternoon, and I'm joined by Annabelle, Chantal, and Jane. And so we are quickly moving to the end of our conversation. So I'm going to ask the ladies just to be a little bit more concise in the responses for the next question, which we would like to look at the upside and the downside of diets. Maybe for some of us, this might be a bit of a really struggling or hectic issue. Maybe some of us find ourselves on a 24-day diet, a 32-day diet, a 36-day diet, a 12-day diet, and it's just upside down. And we want to lose weight, we want to be fit, we want to do Pilates, we want to box, we want to do all sorts of things, and we still want to go by the drive-through at McDonald's as well. So how do we balance this? Ladies, help me comment on the up and down sides of diets, meal plans, Many of us have heard the term fasting, intermittent, I think it is fasting. What are your perspectives on these things?
Okay, can I? Okay,
Jane.
I'll go first. I no longer believe in diets. Like I have done it all. I've done it all. So I'm like, okay, next week I'm going on a juice fast for 2 weeks. So I can eat whatever I want right now because I'm going on a juice. Then it just becomes a cycle and becomes so toxic and it doesn't really help. I really believe that we need to learn to have a working lifestyle. Just know that this is a lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, then you won't need a diet. So for me, that's what I believe, because these things of I'm doing 10 days of, I'm doing 20 days of, it just keeps you in a very toxic cycle, which you will end up having a very bad relationship with food and with your body as well. Yeah.
Thanks, Jane. Annabelle?
Can you hear me?
Good, yes, yeah.
All right. I agree with Jane. I don't believe with diet plans as well, and I don't do meal plans, and I don't do fasting. Um, if you want to change your diet and you want to be fit and healthy, I think it must be a lifestyle change. It must be permanent, not just for a short period of time and then you go back to your own routine. You go back to your own diet that you miss, or you eat impulsively. You just eat whatever and so on. So it's best that you consider to eat healthy foods. It should be wholesome, whole foods, direct from the ground. Avoid processed food. And if you like to lose weight, you need to be active and you must have balance in everything. You must have self-control. Of course, if you want to lose weight, you only eat 3 meals a day. And you stick to those meals. You don't snack. Okay, you can snack, but it should be a healthy snack, which is so like
Oh, no.
a fruit, all
My
right, fruit.
popcorn, my fruit.
Yes, all right. A healthy snack, yes. Incorporate some healthy snack into your diet. So, and then the food should be, I think, high in fiber and low in cholesterol. High fiber foods helps to digest effectively, and the stomach is not even damaged, or our organs, it's best for us that we must have a high fiber diet. It's good for our gut, it's good for our intestine. If we are not active or we sit a lot, I think we need to consider a high fiber diet so we don't gain the weight that should be burned, if we're not eating a high fiber diet. So there's a lot of things that we consider when it comes to diet, but this looks so good to be true, that this is ideal, that we can get wholesome food, because most of us work in a place that is far from far from healthy food corners that offer wholesome food, right? So it's important that we must then choose an alternative of taking in consideration taking supplements every day. Supplements that is superfood like spirulina. It has a lot of benefits and it's good for you, and it's vegan also, and it's a complete food. The aeronauts out there, they take spirulina with them out in the spaceship. All right. Okay, supplements is good. And if you are in a hurry, there you can have fruit smoothies, green smoothies, and many more. And these are good for us.
Thank you, Annabelle. Chantal?
So I totally agree with both of our ladies that diets are not the way to go, but rather to have a lifestyle change. Something that I have found to be very useful is to, if I say a meal plan, I don't mean like a diet meal plan. I mean a meal plan that's normal every day for you. So you know what you what you eat and you know what is healthy to eat, and you work out a 2-week or a month meal plan for you as a lifestyle, not as a diet, as a lifestyle. The reason I found this to be very helpful is because sometimes people get into a place and they don't know what to eat because they either gotten busy or they're late or whatever, and they don't have a plan, and then they just rush into McDonald's, or they go buy some chips at their local grocery store, and then often if we don't plan, we eat the wrong thing. So what has really helped me with my lifestyle changes is to use the food that I decide to eat and just to create for myself a home meal plan. As I said, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And then at least I know so tonight, if I know tomorrow I'm making bean stew, I can take out the beans out of the freezer tonight and I'm not caught off guard tomorrow. So that's just basically what I thought, it's just to think a little bit ahead, to set yourself up for success in terms of keeping to eating good food.
Thank you. So maybe some of you out there on the live stream that have seen our advertising for this specific discussion is wondering where in the world do the stilettos come in? I think maybe some of us out there have been wondering, they're talking about food and well-being and health and essential oils. I don't hear anything about shoes. And so this brings us to our last question this afternoon, is looking at if there's any influence of the way that we as women dress on our health. And I'm specifically now referring to things like, some of the young kids are wearing these muffin tops out there with the bellies open. And I'm thinking to myself, oh gosh, isn't it cold? Does that have an effect on our health? Or I admire these lovely women out there that are able to walk on stilettos that are this high. And I'm thinking to myself, does it have any bearing or any influence whatsoever on our health or our bone structure or whatever the case may be? Ladies, could you share with us your perspective on the question, does dress have any influence on my health or not? Jane, would you like to give it a go?
Okay, so I don't know, maybe my take on life is very different, but I feel like life is already complicated. We shouldn't be complicating it any longer with wearing uncomfortable shoes, wearing things which are so tight that we can't breathe. We are we are only, and I believe that there is a connection actually. We need to let our blood flow. Like we need to let our body be. We should not be. And for example, right now it's very cold where I am, and I'm covered with blankets, except the part that you can all see. And I'm like, I need to be warm. So when I walk outside and I see, because when you're cold unnecessarily, you will get sick. So why must you get sick so that you can be fashionable? So for me, that's, yeah.
Annabelle, do you have you'd like to share? You are fine, you're audible.
All right. Can hear me? Yeah. When we dress up, most of the times we choose clothes that's not for ourselves, but for others' viewpoint of us. So sometimes, agree with me. So sometimes, we tend to look just for others to see that we are in accordance with how they want us to look. So we choose clothes that's so tight, even if we're not uncomfortable, and that's actually true. As Jane said, it's not good for blood circulation, and it can cause constipation as well. So it's important that we are comfortable with the clothes that we choose. And sometimes, it depends on our moods as well. We choose clothes that is when we are depressed, when we are sad, we choose clothes that's dark colors. In Asia, there's a lot of bright colors, and we even match it with our bags, with our headbands, and we even match with our shoes. With it comes to stilettos, if you are not comfortable wearing those high heels, then rather not, because you might injure yourself, or wear something comfortable for you. As a woman, we need to accept that we are unique individual. We are fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and we have to accept our own skin color, our hair, our ourself, our looks. That's how we find contentment. And the people, if we have accepted ourselves, the people around us will accept us too.
Chantal?
So I don't think there's much more that I can add. I think I can just, how can I say, affirm what's already been said, that it's, like in winter, it's not good for our extremities to be open. It's not good for us to wear tight clothing, because we've spoken about blood circulation, and blood circulation cannot happen if we're wearing tight clothing. And if our extremities are open, it's not good for our blood either. And then, high heels is very bad for our body structure and our spines. And so I actually loved what Jane was saying, let's not follow fashion, but let's follow health. Let's rather look at what's healthy for us instead of following fashion. And what Annabelle was just saying, was beautiful. Let's just ask God to help us to accept who we are. We were created in his image, and we are all special in his sight, and let's do what's best for our bodies and not be something that the world says we should be.
I completely agree with all of you, what you have said. And so we are moving towards the conclusion, or actually the end now of our discussion. I apologize to all of you out there if there's a little bit of noise in the background as I'm speaking. But I would like to thank the panelists for their time this afternoon, for sharing their perspectives and experiences on holistic well-being. And so I would like to let all of you know out there who's joining us on the live stream, I will not be playing the special item once again, but I would love to invite you to enjoy our special item directly after the live stream program. I will upload it onto the Girl Positive Facebook page. So just before I close off, I'd like to know if Chantal, Jane, and Annabelle, would you like to just give your last just conclusions in 1 or 2 minutes? Annabelle, would you like to start?
I just want to say a positive word to all the women out there, because I know it's Women's Month, and we all women, we all, bombarded with a lot of stress in our life. And, when we are stressed, we kind of think irrational and kind of moody, and sometimes we feel like everybody has left us and we are alone, but we are not. God is there for us, and he is there. He is our strength and our refuge in a time of need. So we need to give our trust in him. We might be superwoman that we can do everything, but I think we need to stand back and let him do his work and his will for us.
Thank you, Annabelle. Chantal?
So I just feel a burden on my heart to speak to someone out there that's maybe listening and is struggling with disease, mental health, or any other form of ailment. I know myself personally how hard this journey is, to be ill and to work towards the journey of health. Just a confession, when I was 3 years bedridden, I was very depressed and I was suicidal. I was on antidepressants. So I know the darkness that comes with disease. And I just want to encourage everybody that's maybe struggling with disease that there's always hope. We have a beautiful health message. We have beautiful counsel. And if we just take one day at a time and we follow the suggestions that is given to us, we will get healthy. And I think it's always just important for people to realize that health doesn't come overnight. I had to often remind myself I didn't get sick overnight. And so it's a journey. It's a journey of making the right choices, staying committed, and knowing that God has you in his hands and he will make you healthy. And there's one of my favorite verses in Psalms says, "The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusted in him, and I am helped. Therefore, my heart greatly rejoices." So if we make the Lord our strength and our shield, he will help us. We just need to ask him, as Annabelle was saying earlier, ask him to give us self-control and the strength to make right choices every day. And we will grow in our health. And disease is not a death sentence. There's definitely always hope.
Thank you, Chantal. Jane?
I just wanted to remind each and every one of us that a righteous man falls 7 times, but he keeps getting up, and that is the secret. To just this, you will try and then you'll fail. Chances are you will, because okay, I'm speaking from experience. I'm still falling in certain areas, but the point is just keep getting up. One day there are things I stopped falling from. Just keep getting up and take care of your health and continue eating well. When you fall, when you crave and then you fall, just get up again. Don't stay down. And that is the secret, really, because we can talk and talk and it sounds like so complicated, but my my desire is that we see the simplicity part of it, and when we struggle, we know that there is hope even when we fall. So that is what I want to ask for everyone, to just keep getting up when we fall. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chantal, Jane, and Annabelle, for joining me in this discussion this afternoon on holistic health and well-being. Just a quick reminder to all of us, if you are interested in the book Ministry of Healing, would like to know more about health and well-being, please inbox me on the Girl Positive Facebook page and I will get you into contact with somebody that can get you this book. Also, if you would like to contact any of the women on the panel this afternoon, Chantal from the Preparation Ministry, Jane, which is a self-taught vegan chef, and then Annabelle Solomon, which is the owner of the Asian Blend Spa. Please get the details from the Girl Positive Facebook page as well by inboxing me if you'd like to make contact with them, their perspectives and their services. And thank you once again this afternoon for joining all of us at Girl Positive. I really hope and my prayer is that you have gained a new perspective, a different look on what it really means to eat healthy, to understand your body better, to discover food better, and then also to remember that food is your medicine and medicine is your food. So thank you once again for joining us this afternoon. And Chantal, Jane, and Annabelle, thank you once again to you as well. I'd like to bid each of you a lovely afternoon further. And remember just to keep a watch on the Girl Positive Facebook page for any further announcements of our future discussions. Thank you so much. Keep well.
Thank you.